Hello everyone, and welcome to Empireofsin. Today I'm bringing you something a little different. This is a new game to me. I literally hadn't heard of this and it popped onto my radar via some of my followers, and I was intrigued when they started talking about gangster games with strategy and combat. As I say, it's different from the games I usually play and I usually focus on my channel, but I do enjoy content, anything to do with the mob or gangsters, anything like that, and I have to say I am enjoying it. I've only been playing it for a couple of days and I wanted to get a video out onto my channel just showing what the setup looks like and how you really take your first steps in this game. So what are we talking about here? Well, the best way to describe this is to say that Empireofsin is a strategy game, a little bit like other empire building games. You have a gang or a faction and you are responsible for building up an empire with that gang, purchasing businesses, taking on rival factions, using diplomacy skills, and of course combat to hold it all together. And I've never really played anything like this before, so it is something different and I'm going to need a little help. So let's get into it and see what's happening.
Yeah, you told me the other day you'd be coming back today, but you didn't.
So before you hit the streets, you're going to need to make some decisions, and first up you're going to choose your crime family. Each one of the families are represented by a different crime boss, and I've chosen Angelo, Jenna and the Jenna crime family. And if you go back and re-watch the intro, you can see all the different families and their bosses available. Pay attention to the information written next to the boss's picture. Once you've chosen your family, you will begin the storyline straight away associated with that family, but that's not all the game is about. What I've done is try to choose the boss with the best and most appealing boss ability. Angelo Jenna has a cool knife throwing ability which is pretty deadly. Al Capone, I think, has a spray with his Tommy gun, and Cywing Mock has a deadly flower that kills everyone, and I mean everyone. So yeah, combat is a serious part of your character progression. It's big. So how does combat work? Well, you take turns in attacking the rival faction gang members that you're in combat with, and while in combat mode it's last man standing, and that needs to be you and your gang. You select from your own weapons and abilities, all of which can be upgraded and equipped from the menu, and then you just go to war, choosing the right level of cover while in combat and keeping a close eye on your health and the health of all the other gang members in your gang, as well as the health of all your rivals. Is going to be key to your success. You will play as all of your gang members while in combat. You will literally take turns, essentially moving from one character to another, and each character has different abilities, reputation, personality, which affects the outcome of their performance whilst in combat. So once you've gained victory, you can then choose to take over or destroy your rivals' businesses, and that is how you begin your journey in Empireofsin. You want to have businesses growing and gain notoriety, and the other factions will then start to take notice of you. So the other gangs or factions, well, this is everyone that you didn't choose and they are all your enemies, but there is a benefit in creating relationships with other crime families and their bosses. As you progress through the game, you're going to interact with these other bosses and have sit downs with them where decisions will be made about how the two families will operate together in the same neighbourhood. Using your diplomacy skills will be key to making a success of your empire. Choose carefully who you make deals with and who you decide to avoid. The decisions you make will affect your relationships with other crime families and how they behave towards you. This is essentially how the game works. Set up your empire, manage your workforce, create and develop these relationships, and then branch out into other neighbourhoods and do the same there, building influence elsewhere. This is kind of where I've got to in this point, so let's summarise. Choose your family and the level of difficulty you want to play at. Pay attention to the menus, organise your workforce and put them to work immediately. Start purchasing businesses and taking over derelict buildings, gain notoriety before attacking rival gangs. Have some sit downs and let the relationships start to develop. Don't say yes to everything and don't say no either. Explore your character's storyline and have a go at combat. Don't forget to equip a first aid kit and some health tonic and some decent melee weapons as well as guns in the menu before you go to battle. When you hire someone, do the same for them too. Organise yourself and have fun. After playing this for a few days, I've basically worked out my own little strategy, and what I'm doing is kind of going off into surrounding neighbourhoods and taking on derelict buildings and starting to build notoriety by having a few buildings in various different neighbourhoods. This tends to help me to develop the right kind of relationships and get the right kind of respect from the other crime families, and this stops them going to war with you, and they start to ask you for help and they will look for protection and things like that. There is so much more to this game that I haven't talked about in this video, and I will make more content on it. For now, I've tried to focus on the basic first steps and just giving you some idea how to get started and progress if this is something that you're interested in playing. It's available via the Games Pass on Xbox from the Microsoft Store, and I would definitely recommend it. So let me know what you think, and I'll be back in another video very soon. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you in a while.